There are 11 kind of grants that you can apply for. So I'll be going through all of them today. So welcome to the Elite Experience. This is the grant edition. So the first kind of grant is the, the project grant. So this is a grant that is given for a specific kind of project. So this is the project grant. The second grant is the matching grant. So the matching grant works in two ways. So the first one is that you can be given the grant and then you find find someone to match it later, or you can be required to match it first and then you are given the grant. So this is mostly about it's like matching giving in terms of maybe a company matching like a gift for its workers. So it works the same way. So matching grant is whereby one organization matches what another organization has given you. The third grant is a capacity building grant. So capacity building grant is sorry capacity building grant is a grant that is given to increase the level of your non-profit. So it is a grant mostly to increase the level at which you can deliver the project that you are currently doing. So it is mostly about building the capacity of the non-profit. So it can be about increasing the extent of the project. It can be about enabling you to bring in more staff. It can be about increasing your processes. So it is mostly about increasing the capacity of your non-profit. The fourth kind of grant is the seed or the startup grant. So this is mostly given to non-profit. So from mostly it's between 0 to 3 years in that time period. So if you are non-profit, it's either you are about to start it or it has not reached the third year, you can apply for this kind of grant. So that they are mostly to give your non-profit the foundation so that after the 3 year period is over now you can start now being able to you already have the momentum, so it will be more about just keeping up that momentum after that. So the fifth kind of grant is the tie of grant. Now the tie of grant is it is the last grant that a grantor gives to the non-profit. So this one comes mostly when either the theme of the grantor is changing or the cycle of that grant period is coming to an end. So they will give you this grant so that it is a way of saying goodbye to you. So that is the type of grant. The sixth kind of grant is the research grant. The research grant is the grant that is given to enable you to do your research. So this one is mostly for non-profit which are involved in doing research. So it mostly covers how the research will be done, and now it also covers those people who will be doing that research. So it is mostly about research, and now it covers nothing else. It is mostly focused on the research only. The seventh kind of grant is capital grant. Now, the capital grant is given to a non-profit so that the non-profit can acquire assets. So, about the asset part now, a non-profit is it's considered a business entity in terms of the categorization of organizations. And now, the only thing that that cannot do is that it cannot pay off its board or its stakeholders like the founders. So, but it is allowed to acquire assets. So, the capital grant is about it's given to a non-profit so that it can acquire assets which can be producing the income so that it can run its project and also it can pay off its staff. So that is a capital grant. The eighth kind of grant is the endowment grant. The endowment grant is it's mostly about acquiring ownership so that the non-profit can earn interest on that endowment. So this is mostly about it is a way of enabling the non-profit to generate interest in the long term. So it is a way of giving the non-profit an opportunity to invest in that endowment and then they will be getting interest from it later. So that is the endowment grant. The ninth kind of grant is the general operation grant. Now this one is mostly focused on the general operation. Now what you need to know about this is that most of the grants don't cover general operation. So like they don't cover the operation part of the non-profit. They are mostly focused on the programs. But this general operation grant is mostly focused now on the operation part. So that can be something like paying off the staff, can be something like subscribing to a software. It can be something like paying off professionals. It can be to do something like create your website, create your system, so something like that. So this is now the operation grant. So and also for something like the transport part. So the general operation part is it's mostly for the to enable the non-profit to cover the part of the non-profit that are not covered by the other kinds of grants. The tenth kind of grant is the there are two kinds of grants. So it is the state grant and the federal grant. But now it is more. I will put them together. So it will be the 10th and the 11th one. So I will consider them the government grant. So the government grant are more about empowering an industry or an area that the government is not covering, empowering it so that it is not left behind in the society and in the community. So the government grants are more about either they cover the area that the government is not currently focused on, or they are specifically for an industry that the government want to empower more so that the non-profit can now bring the change that it can bring from their own side. So those are now the government grants. So there are two of them, the federal and the state grant. So that is all for today, and I will just give you a summary of the grants that I have covered. So the first one is project grant. So the first one is project grant. The second one is matching grant. The third one is capacity building grant. The fourth one is seed or startup grant. The fifth one is research grant. The sixth one is endowment grant. Seventh one is general operation grant. Then you have the federal grant, the state grant, the capital grant, and then finally there is the TEOF grant, that is the last grant that a non-profit gives when it is cutting off ties with the non-profit. So thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. So bye bye. KDM.